All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechak. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Nab, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will. This is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this on X. It says, Knightscope robots have been deployed by the Boston Police Department as part of a pilot program to deter crime. These robots provide real-time surveillance of Americans with 360 cameras, license plate recognition, thermal imaging, and they are recording audio and video.
We come to the big city
This
and
call may be recorded for your safety.
what's happening?
Yes, I had to press the button to see what happened.
Okay.
What is the purpose of this machine?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Sorry, it's a bit noisy. What is the purpose of this machine, please? Got the box. I know, we just wondered what this machine was for.
I'm sorry, what?
Why is this thing here on their camera? What is it for? What's the purpose? What's the point?
Is there someone inside there?
Okay. Hello, are you in here?
Yeah.
The guy.
Y'all laughing, but that's gonna be your new police force in the future. We'll look at some of these comments. As a matter of fact,
We come to the big city and
who cares about it? What is it called though? Knightscope. I gotta look this up. Knightscope robots. Y'all think that shit's cool, and it's not. News. Knightscope accelerates past another 1 million in new sales, renewals, and expansions. Let's see. News, videos. I didn't mean to click maps. Videos. 1 month ago. Knightscope revolutionizing public safety with AI and robotics. March 11th, 2025. Let me look at this 1 month ago. Let's see what this is. Whoa. It's going too quick. I want to read this. In the dark, it's been learning. In the dark, my picture sucks. Let me see if I can renew it or something. Picture sucks on this. There we go. Oh, it's just the video. Video sucks. Whatever. Pulled over by this little ass car, man. That's not what I was looking at, but clearly they're doing robotics, and they're in your city of Boston, so beware of that. It says Trump administration urges white men to file workplace discrimination claims.
We began today with a major shift in how the United States enforces workplace discrimination laws. The White House is escalating its push against diversity, equity, and inclusion, and this time the message is directed squarely at white men. In a post on social media, Andrea Lucas, the chair of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or the EEOC, encouraged white male workers who believe they've been faced with discrimination to come forward. She said they may have a legitimate claim and could even recover compensation.
The EEOC is committed to identifying, attacking, and eliminating all race and sex discrimination, including against white male employees and applicants.
The statement marks the latest move in a broader campaign by President Donald Trump to dismantle DEI. It also reflects the administration's push towards reframing civil rights enforcement around what the White House calls merit-based opportunity. And the EEOC was created under the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and was...
As a matter of fact, he did just say... Hold on, I gotta look this up real quick. Did Donald Trump say that the Boston housing was discriminatory? Something along the lines of that. I forgot what he said. Yes, the Trump administration recently initiated an investigation into Boston's housing policies, alleging they are discriminatory against white people. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, under the direction of the Trump administration, informed Boston Mayor Michelle Wu in a letter that the city's housing initiatives violate the Fair Housing Act by prioritizing people of color in certain home ownership programs. This nigga is funny. I gotta find a video on this. 1 week ago. I don't know why I didn't find this. I gotta watch this real quick.
Peter, Mr. Billingsley.
Sorry, got a little lost in the sauce there.
Esau's being discriminated against.
Well, the Trump administration is looking into housing policies here in Boston. In a letter, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, put the city on notice. HUD accuses the city of discriminating against white people in some of its homeownership programs. ABC 10's Ryan Kath has reviewed.
What do you mean, man? You own all the houses. What are you talking about?
The details in that document and joins us with reaction to this new DEI-related probe. Ryan.
Matt, the letter doesn't give an indication that a specific fair housing complaint sparked this investigation. However, this much is clear. It is the latest battle line drawn in President Trump's very public clash with Boston Mayor Michelle Wu.
The letter addressed to the Boston mayor comes from the Assistant Secretary of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity and accuses the Wu administration of city housing initiatives that prioritize people of color rather than all low-income residents.
I was, taken aback.
Boston City Councilor Enrique Pepin
says the nigga that did redlining. If you don't know what redlining is, this devil's he's funny as hell. This is so hypocritical. And you know what? That's good. That's good. If this is true, that's what your ass get.
Reacting to the letter, which he says reflects the opposite of what housing programs are trying to accomplish.
What we do here is we create programs that can help elevate them to that next step forward in their life. So when we get attacks like this from the White House or from President Trump, it truly just shows that we are doing something right.
On the social media platform X, the HUD housing secretary said Boston's housing policies are motivated by DEI and posted, "This warped mentality will be exposed and Boston will come into full compliance with federal law." In response, a spokesperson for the mayor called the probe unhinged attacks from Washington, while the governor also reacted.
The idea that they're filing a civil rights complaint against the city of Boston, to me, is just another example of, an attempt to weaponize and punish and politicize perceived enemies.
The letter takes aim at the welcome to...
See? Never trust your enemy. He knows who his enemy is. You Israelites don't know. I find this funny, though. This is just clear. This is like redlining right in front of your face, the same type of policies he was trying to do before. This is Esau, man.
Boston program, which uses city-owned land.
Let me rewind it a little bit more.
and punish and politicize perceived enemies.
The letter takes aim at the Welcome to Boston program, which uses city-owned land to build affordable options for people who would otherwise be priced out of home ownership.
It's the #1 issue here in the city of Boston, and I think we need to continue to fight to make sure that it's affordable. We are providing the inventory, and we are creating pathways for everyone to have that basic human right.
Federal government says it will be requesting documents from the city of Boston in the coming days. At the end of the investigation, the agency could file charges of discrimination or refer the situation to the Department of Justice. Ryan Kath, NBC 10 Boston.
Oh, man, you are funny as hell, man. I gotta grab it. I gotta grab it, man. Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. So that's what he does with his laws. Let's look this up. Woe means death and destruction. Unrighteous decree is something that is a decree that it ultimately it's a way to oppress you. Okay, it's not to make anything better. It's just another form of oppression, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. That's all he prescribes is grievousness. Let's look at this word, grievousness. What did I just do? Grievousness, mischief, misery, trouble, sorrow, grievance, toil, trouble, labor. Okay, wearisome. So that's ultimately what he's doing. He wants you to be weak. He wants to overthrow you. That's all he wants to do, man. Make it hard for you. All right. Let's look this up. Isaiah 10. I want to see what chat says about this. Isaiah 10, verses 1 and 2, meaning. I want to look this up real quick. It says, woe, a pronouncement of judgment and destruction, not sympathy, used by the prophets when the Lord is about to visit punishment. Them that decree unrighteous decrees refers to lawmakers, rulers, judges, and those in authority, like the duck. Decree, official laws, policies, rulings. He wants to go use HUD and say, if you don't follow the federal guidelines on housing policies, we're going to do this, that, and the third. Even though when you look at it from the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans economically have always been down here. You had 500 years of slavery and all this, but yet this shows how stupid you really are as a people, because even with a 500-year plus gap, you still on the same level as a low-level Negro, Latino, or Native American. These are legal systems that are unjust, but still lawful in the eyes of men. Yes, it's unjust, but it's still lawful. That's how Esau always creates a little loophole in his laws where he can write an amendment. He can come around later on and push this type of shit in and be lawful. Hebrew decree, statute, ordinance, law, unrighteous, injustice, perversity, morally wrong. That's what he is. That's what Esau is. They pass laws that violate God's law, even though they appear legitimate. That's Esau is perfect at doing just that. Passing laws that look legitimate. That's what he likes to do. Let me grab this in the book of Micah, chapter 2. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking of a precept. I was reading 1st Esdras, the 4th chapter. And that's the spirit. 1st Esdras, the 4th chapter. In the 49th verse, if I remember. It says, moreover, he wrote for all the Jews that went out of his realm up into Jewry concerning their freedom, that no officer, no ruler, no lieutenant, nor treasurer should forcibly enter into their doors, and that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute, and that the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews which then they held. So that's showing you that, I'm going to look this up, but when they helped the Babylonians take over the first temple, they occupied some of that land then. So the Edomites always coveted your land, man. Even back then. Let's look this up. As a matter of fact, I want to get this in. Okay, let me get this in chat too. That's what they do, man. So, let me copy that, put that here, and let's read it. This verse is part of the contest of the three guardsmen before King Darius. Each man argues what is strongest, wine, the king, or woman in truth. Nah, man, this is the wrong verse. This is the wrong verse. Let's insert the whole verse then. This is part of Darius' decree after Zerubbabel won the debate by declaring that truth is the strongest of all. Because of this, Darius rewards Zerubbabel. He confirms the restoration of Judah. He commands surrounding nations to release control over Israelite land. This parallels with Ezra 6 and Nehemiah 2. Breakdown of the verse that all the country which they hold should be free without tribute. Country refers to the land of Judah and Benjamin after the Babylonian captivity, free without tribute, no taxes, levies, or payments to the Persian crown. This is a royal exemption, not a suggestion. So he was telling all these nations to give back the land that belonged to the Jews. Esau had his own land, but yet he's chilling in your land. So he's always been like that. Freedom from tribute, partial restoration of sovereignty. And that's another thing. You're not sovereign. Okay, if you're paying taxes, your rent's constantly increasing because you're being oppressed. That the Edomites should give over the villages of the Jews. This is a heavy prophetic statement. Who are the Edomites? Descendants of Esau, historical enemies of Israel, took advantages of Judah's fall to occupy Israelite territory. And that's what you're seeing now. They want to take away your house and all that bullshit. Edom was illegally occupying villages belonging to Judah. Illegally is the key word in that. Let me grab this in the book of Numbers. But at the same time, when you go to the book of Numbers, the 20th chapter, what does this nigga do? You couldn't even pass through his land. Numbers 20. And I just got to grab it. And 14, and Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that have befallen us. So Numbers is after we exited Egypt. Now our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel and have brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed through thy borders. Pass thy borders, Salakia. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I in my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. And thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from him, and the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. So they had to go a whole nother way. So what was that all about? Esau. So he's constantly had war with Israel, man. And the news lady said exactly. She knows. He knows. She said he is using it. He's weaponizing it to go against some enemies. I forgot how she worded it. Okay. Which then they held, confirms Edom's control was temporary and opportunistic. The land never belonged to them by covenant. But they don't care. That's why I was going into Micah chapter 2. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. So he was sleeping and he woke up and said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell all white people to say, you know what, they're discriminating against them, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm gonna change the laws so I can oppress them and make sure they don't have any homes. Even though you're not going to have the ability to afford it anyways. It's kind of a waste of time. This place is about to be destroyed. Micah 2:2, and they covet fields, and they take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. See, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. So that's what Esau likes to do. All right, let me finish this precept first. Isaiah 10 and where'd I drop it at? That's a good precept. Proverbs 17:15. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, both of them are an abomination to the Lord. Okay, so he justifies the wicked and he condemns the just. So, and he does that how? These unrighteous decrees. Micah 6:16. Wicked statutes are kept. Let me grab that real quick. Micah 6:16. For the statutes of Omri are kept, and all the works of the house of Ahab, and ye walk in their counsels, that I should make thee a desolation in the inhabitants thereof, and hissing. Therefore ye shall bear the reproach of my people. I gotta look this up. This looks like a mighty precept through the Spirit. Micah 6:16. God is condemning Judah for abandoning his commands to follow the wicked, idolatrous ways of Israel's kings, Omri and Ahab, warning that their imitation of this corruption will bring utter ruin, desolation, and become a shameful, mocking example for other nations to see. And that's what's going to happen to Esau. He's taking the same approach that Ahab did to take over the vineyard of I forgot the king's name, but let's find out. Let's go look that up, as a matter of fact. Ahab and Jezebel take over the vineyard. 1 Kings 21. Naboth. That's what he did. Let me just go over there real quick. 1 Kings 21. Ahab covets Naboth's vineyard, and that's what Esau's doing. He's coveting your prosperity. You work twice as hard, triple amount as hard, get to the level, and he wants to cut you down. He's always changing the rules. So now, he's making it harder for you to achieve that American dream that you covet so much. But Micah 2:10, this is not your rest. Okay, it is polluted. Let me grab that. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction. So this place, you got to come out of this mindset. You want to rest here. You're longing for some type of peace, some rest in Babylon. It's not going to come. This ain't you are in your captivity. Going to Baruch 3:8. All right. 1 Kings 21:1. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab king of Samaria. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. And Naboth said to Ahab, The Lord Yahweh forbid it me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. And we wouldn't have done that either. But he stole the inheritance. Think about the people who lived here before. You don't think they gave certain parts of the land down to their family members? This nigga's occupying that right now. He stole it 1 Kings 21:4, and Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. So he was sad because Naboth said he wasn't going to sell him this vineyard that he coveted. But Jezebel his wife came to him and said unto him, Why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto her, Because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Doest thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Just letting a woman rule over him, letting his wife dictate. But that's how Esau does it. You know, Esau be having what do you call it? He set up the I'm thinking of a precept. A woman shall compass a man. Jeremiah 31 verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. And that's what you see. You know, a woman telling a man what to do. And there's a lot of that going on in this time. Just like then. 1 Kings 21 and 8. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letter saying, Proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high among the people, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, Thou didst blaspheme God and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. So he'll set you up, and that's him coveting lands so he can steal it by violence. That's the type of shit he does. Matching up with Micah 6 verse 16. That's what made me think of this. Because you pretty much taking the same advice as those kings. For the statutes of army are kept, and all the works of the house of Ahab, and that's what Ahab did. So you coveting other people's land, and you figuring out a way on how to steal it from them. But he'll do it instead of just killing you. He can just take away your jobs. He can do it in a different way. The scripture that says, let me see if I can quote it. When you take away your neighbor's living, you slay them. Ecclesiasticus 34 verse 22. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder. So he has roundabout ways through his policies where he could slay you economically and not literally. Okay, so this is a way of him trying to slay you through the spirit, or through his policies, through his unrighteous decrees. Okay, decree, official laws, policies, rulings. These are legal systems that are unjust but still lawful in the eyes of men. They pass laws that violate God's law even though they appear legitimate. So how would this violate God's law? Exodus, the 20th chapter, tells you you shouldn't be coveting. That's number 1. I will start there. Let me go here. Exodus 20. And actually 15, thou shalt not steal. Ultimately, he's stealing, but I'm looking for I think it's 4 or 5. Thou shalt not covet, something like that. Let me see, put covet. Exodus 20 and 17, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox or his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. And that's what he's doing. He's coveting your house. Okay. So that's number one. What else is he doing? He's doing unrighteous decrees. Okay. It gave me Proverbs 17. And what did it say? In 15, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord. So he's justifying the wicked, which ultimately Edomites, he's justifying them occupying your ill-gotten gains. Let me grab that precept. Ill-gotten gains. No. Ill-gotten gains. Proverbs 10 and 2. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. I thought there was a precept on ill-gotten gains. What's this? Proverbs 1 and 19. Riches gotten by vanity. What's this? Proverbs 13 and 11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Let's see. I mean, I can't. Let me see. There's another precept in Isaiah. He's ultimately coveting. I mean, he'd probably fall under that to prove that he's coveting the land. Woe unto thee that live house. Yeah, Isaiah 5 and 8. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. So that's just people taking your land, your property, bunching you up into pretty much these housing complexes, different, like project living and stuff. So they can have more land and they can live out there. They'll bunch you up over here and then, and then be, have more land and shit like that. Let me look this up. Isaiah 5 and 8. Meaning, prophetic woe denouncing the greed of wealthy Israelites who illegally consolidated land, adding house to house and field to field, ignoring God's law of Jubilee and exploiting the poor. Oh, that's the point. The Jubilee. The Jubilee, you're supposed to give them. If someone owes you a debt, I'll grab that piece. Leading to a divided society and impending divine judgment like famine and exile, warning against materialism and prioritizing possessions over people and righteousness. Let me see this law. Jubilee law. Let's go into that. Leviticus, the 25th chapter. Let's go there real quick. That's ultimately what he's breaking. It's coveting, but he don't want to let you go. Leviticus 25 and 10, and ye shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself. So there's a land Sabbath. He don't do that. People who are captive, he don't apply any of these scriptures, so it just shows you he's the damn devil. Okay. Leviticus 25:11, a jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vine undressed. For it is the jubilee, it shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee ye shall return every man unto his possession. And if thou sell out unto thy neighbor, or buyest out of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. According to the number of years after the jubilee, thou shalt buy of thy neighbor, and according unto the number of the years of the fruits he shall sell unto thee. So, I just want to get to the point. That's pretty much Leviticus 25:23, the land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possessions ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If thy brother be waxen poor and have sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. So ultimately, following the law of Jubilee, just to summarize it, is there's a certain amount of time if your brother's wax poor and you forgive him for his debts and things like that. This nigga doesn't do that. You go to school, you can't, you end up not making it to where you initially wanted to go, and now you just broke, can't afford a home like the majority of Americans today. He's not going to forgive you of that debt because he's an unrighteous person. He's the wicked. Okay? So, something like this, these are reasons why the Lord's going to kill his ass. Okay? And destroy everything that he has because he's wicked. Psalms 94:20, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? That's exactly what he does. He frames mischief by a law. Let's look this up. So there's plenty of precepts that show why what he's doing is wicked, because he is the wicked. Psalms 94:20 means that God has nothing to do with or cannot be allied with corrupt rulers and systems that create injustice by law, using legal authority to frame or decree evil and oppression instead of justice, highlighting God's ultimate opposition to such wickedness and his commitment to punishing it. And this is a beautiful example of why this is what the Lord hates. It's an abomination to the Lord, these types of decrees. But you people like it this way. That's why y'all gonna get burnt up. It's a rhetorical question, questioning how good God could partner with a throne of iniquity that devises harm through statutes, assuring believers that God's nature is fundamentally opposed to such legalized corruption. So the Lord ain't dealing with these damn Edomites. That's why you gotta read Psalms the 73rd chapter. If you had wisdom, you would know. Let them get all of this shit, man. Stick with the Lord, and the Lord's you're gonna watch his fall. That right grievousness which they have prescribed right shows intentional planning, not ignorance. So they intentionally plan to write these type of decrees. Grievousness equals oppression, hardship, misery placed on the people, which are the Israelites. Grievousness, laborious trouble, oppression, misery. They design suffering, then codify it into law, and that's what he does. Modern application, economic oppression, unjust taxation, biased courts, laws that protect the wicked and criminalize righteousness. And that's when the wicked are authority, the people rejoice. But when the righteous bear rule, the people rejoice. I said that wrong. Proverbs 29:2 is what I'm trying to quote. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. He's the wicked. That's why he's creating laws like this to try to kick you out of your home. It's not by coincidence. And he's doing it to a specific group of people. When you go look at Elam, he's fine with Elam stinking up the place over there. Moab, he can go do whatever he wants over there. It's you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who he's using this DEI initiative to. It's hyper focused on you, even though on top of that whole DEI shit is really for the LGBTQ. But they put it like that to make it seem, because you're like blackface. They like using you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans as the face of their wickedness. But in all actualities, In all actuality, these decrees actually benefit the wicked. Isaiah 10:2, to turn aside the needy from judgment, the needy are you Israelites, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. So they like to take away your rights. You got a right to live according to his law. You know, you got the money. You achieved whatever. I want to be surprised if he literally takes away your house. Oh, well, you got this loan through this, I don't even know what to call it. You got a loan through whatever company that we just took away their DEI initiatives. Will make your loan void. Will pay you what you owe, but you got to move. And this is the type of shit that's going to be happening. That widows may be their prey. Widows are also talking about the nation of Israel. You're the prey, and that they may rob the fatherless, and we're also the fatherless. These are code words that talk about you Israelites. Okay, breakdown. To turn aside the needy from judgment. The poor cannot receive justice in court. Their cases are dismissed, delayed, or rigged. And you're in a rigged society. Okay, Esau's not in trouble like other men, so he'll get away with this shit for now, but ultimately he's building up a tab for the Lord to just come crashing down on him with all these thermonuclear missiles and laser beams from Yahweh Shai. He's going to redeem his elect, and then they're going to watch all of this transpire. So if you want a seat, I would do the best I can to please the Lord, or you're going to be caught up in it. Exodus 23:6, thou shalt not rest the judgment of the poor. So you can't rest the judgment of the poor, meaning when you apply the laws of the Bible, there's no respect of persons. It applies to your best friend, your mama, your little girl, your daughter, your son. There's no respect of persons. If this is the transgression, this over here is the judgment, it needs to be applied, and there's no in between. You know, a beautiful example is in the book of, I think it's Numbers 11. Let me see, Numbers 11, and let me see, is it Numbers 11? Let me see. I'm thinking of when Aaron's sons got put to death, and let me just find it, because I haven't read it in a while. Aaron's sons get put to death, and he says nothing about it. Look, it was Leviticus 10. Yeah, the men of the Lord will tell you there's something different. There's something different about our forefathers, man. Leviticus 10:1, and Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer and put fire therein and put incense thereon and offered strange fire before the Lord Yahweh, which he commanded them not. And there went out fire from the Lord Yahweh and devoured them, and they died before the Lord Yahweh. Then Moses said unto Aaron, this is it that the Lord spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come nigh me, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace. So he didn't cry over it. He told you not to do it. And that's something that, you know, that mindset, we won't see that amongst Israel, a lot of Israelites, man. I can't say everyone, but we've been fully, no one's gonna judge themselves. No one's gonna judge their, you know, we practicing it, but ultimately the Lord gotta put that, we need our hearts changed, man. Because we'll pervert justice somewhere down the line. It's just inherited for you to want to try to save your family and things like that. But in order to prevent wickedness, the law needs to be applied perfectly. In order to be perfect, you need the laws, statutes, and commandments written in your inward parts. But where was I? Let me finish this up. Proverbs 18:5. Except in the person of the wicked to overthrow the righteous. That's right, to take away the right from the poor of my people. Key phrase, my people. This is not talking about all nations. It is Israel being oppressed by unjust rulers. And this is what brothers be trying to tell you, man. This is Israel being oppressed by unjust rulers. The other heathen nations, they're not going through these things. Even though Esau's paying other Israelites to say how they can be saved and all of that. But these heathen don't give two shits about you, man. And they ain't gonna give a fuck about you until judgment is starting to come to pass. Then you're gonna see a whole change in people's demeanor about the nation of Israel. The system is engineered so Israelites at the bottom have no protection, and that's because we're going through the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, where it tells you in Deuteronomy 28, verse 30. Deuteronomy 28:43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And there's nothing you could do about it. There's nothing you could do but bear the indignation of the Lord. Micah 7:9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh, because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So no one, these judges ain't going on this earth. They're not going to execute judgment for you. All right. Only the Heavenly Father is going to execute the judgment that you're looking for. This is why we constantly ring in his phone. Luke 18:1, and he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint, saying there was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of my adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Because there's going to be a lot of troubling times ahead of you. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So that's going into thermonuclear destruction. Kaboom. So all these houses made of wood burned up. Consumption, annihilation, complete destruction. So what's there to be mad about? Termination, a full end, complete destruction, consumption, annihilation, completion. He's gonna annihilate this place. So let him write his unrighteous decrees. All right, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. Widows and orphans represent the most defenseless in society, which are you Israelites. Instead of protecting them, rulers exploit them, like the Edomites. Exodus 22:22, God threatens wrath for oppressing widows and orphans. James 1 verse 27, true religion is caring for widows and the fatherless. Zechariah 7:10, oppress not the widow nor the fatherless. So he don't keep none of these laws, man. All right. Isaiah 10:1 verse 2 is a direct indictment of corrupt rulership. Wicked elites create unjust laws. They use legality as a weapon, just like that lady said, which was the governor of Massachusetts. The poor, widows, and fatherless of Israel are deliberately oppressed, and she said the word enemy. So she might know what's going on too. God is watching and judgment is guaranteed. So we just got to wait. Okay. We just got to wait. Let me me finish, see what he was saying.
It's originally designed to combat workplace discrimination, particularly sexism and racism, at a time when segregation against Black Americans was both legal and widespread. Now, enforcing Title VIII, which prohibits discrimination based on race, religion, national origin, color, and sex, including gender identity, pregnancy, and sexual orientation. When these violations occur, workers can file complaints with the EEOC, which has the power to investigate cases and bring lawsuits against employers. But under President Trump's second term, the mission of the agency is shifting. Early in his presidency, President Trump signed executive orders eliminating DEI programs across the federal government, as well
Executive orders, aka unrighteous decrees,
as in federal contracting. And more recently, the State Department went even further, announcing it would consider DEI policies adopted by foreign governments as potential human rights violations.
DEI. Let me hear that again. I'm sorry, I'm slow.
Foreign governments and more recently, the State Department went even further, announcing it would consider DEI policies adopted by foreign governments as potential human rights violations.
DEI initiatives adopted by foreign governments would be deemed as potential human rights violations. Oh my God, man! That's an unrighteous decree, okay? And it's all to bring some type of agenda. It sounds funny, but this is what Esau does. See, he can keep changing his law. The Lord's law is perfect. He don't got to change the law. You know, the only law you could say he changed is when he stopped animal sacrifice. But Paul goes into telling you that was supposed to be a schoolmaster to teach you that you need Yahweh Shai. There's no way he was killing animals and stuff. It was just all a foreshadowing of serving the Lord. And it should help you recognize by him becoming the sacrifice, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly, and dying blamelessly for the nation of Israel shows you how perfect he was, man. Okay, only the Most High God could have gave him the authority to do just that, to do what he's doing. All right. So, you know, our laws are perfect. We don't need to change anything. When we deviate from the law, we allow the wicked to rule, and this is like a classroom or Wicked 101. This is what we're taking in real life. Is by being oppressed, but we're gonna overcome. We're gonna pass the test because the Lord's gonna. The game's really rigged in your favor, but all you got to do is repent. So the Lord already gave you the victory, but you got to endure until He hands it over to you. But it's already written. This devil's out of here.
Lucas has embraced this direction. Saying she is focused on restoring equal opportunity, merit, and colorblind equality, aligning closely with the administration's priorities.
You know, it sounds good. Yeah, I don't see any color, even though I call myself white and call everyone else black. Idiots, foolish. None of them should be in power doing anything. They should be scrubbing floors, cleaning dishes.
Vice President J.D. Vance also amplified the call, sharing a column by a Hollywood screenwriter who claimed he lost work because he's a young white man. Vance described DEI as a deliberate program of...
I'm sorry, I gotta laugh at that. That's funny as hell. Don't worry, we're gonna have continual employment according to Ezekiel 39 chapter for the so-called white man. He never gonna have to go through this ever again.
Discrimination primarily against white men.
This is why the Trump administration has so dedicated itself to it.
Yo, the voiceover is crazy, man. That's funny as hell. I gotta rewind that. Whoever did this voiceover, it fits perfectly for him, man. He did a good job.
This is why the Trump administration has so dedicated itself to eradicating racist discrimination. We've eliminated funding for DEI, required government grantees to certify that they're not engaged in DEI, and fired a number of DEI employees. For too many Democrat leaders, racial discrimination was bad unless it targeted white men. This was an injustice, plain and simple.
Really?
And at the same time, media reports suggest that the EEOC has stopped investigating certain discrimination complaints, including cases involving LGBTQ+ workers. The data, however, tells a very different and much more complex story. A study from the University of Massachusetts Amherst found that African-American employees filed discrimination complaints with the EEOC at a rate of 195 times higher than white employees. And as the debate intensifies, one thing is certainly clear. The meaning of workplace fairness in America is now being redefined, and that redefinition may ultimately determine who the law is seen to protect, and more importantly, why.
You're gonna redefine racial discrimination, man. Oh man, that's funny, but it's true. This is what he does. He changes time. What's that? Let me finish this.
I was born into privilege, but I sold myself as the voice of the poor. I led a revolution in the mountains and marched into Havana as a hero. I promised freedom, equality, dignity. What I built was a one-party state. I survived invasions, embargoes, and enemies, but my people survived shortages in silence. Some called me El Comandante. History calls me something else. A dictator. Who am I?
Fidel Castro? Are you gonna give us the answer? No. Oh, there you go. Anyways, that's what's gonna happen to this place. Anyways, it ain't gonna be no food. It's gonna be worse than Cuba. The Cubans are gonna be doing better than you, because one thing Cubans have done during this time, even though they ain't prospering like this place, I remember watching a video. They were making solar panels just out of just regular people just making solar panels just trying to find different ways to hold energy and things like that, and they just been super self-reliant, man. So oppression's not always, it's bad, but then it's good. You learn not to rely on anyone else but the Lord. And then what does the Lord do? He provides for you. He finds a way for you. So I'm putting all my trust in the Lord. Let's see what else the duck is doing in the world. Trump signs $1 trillion defense budget.
Our next story takes us to the United States. Washington has just approved a massive defense budget. It is close to $1 trillion. This is the biggest military budget in American history, or in the world for that matter. It locks in President Donald Trump's priorities, like more money for weapons and the U.S. military at home. But the American Congress has also drawn red lines. There are limits to what the president can do. Plus, Europe is guaranteed the support of U.S. troops. Ukraine will get $800 million in weapons aid. China will face new...
What? Ukraine will get $800 billion in weapons. Nah, she didn't just say that.
Get $800 million in weapons aid. China...
Yeah, I gotta grab Jeremiah 51. She said it. She said it. Before she goes on to China, let me grab it. Jeremiah 51. I'm going to go straight to the point. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky. So you can't heal Babylon if you give it. You have $1 trillion. You give $800 billion to this fool over there in Ukraine. He should have counted the cost, man. I thought these were righteous people. Maybe he should stop dipping his bullets in the pig fat. Actually, that's IDF, excuse me. You shouldn't even be touching that shit. They were dipping bullets in the pig's fat. But they don't read the law. But they celebrate the Feast of Dedication. but they touching pig's fat. Let me grab this in the book of Leviticus 11 real quick, since I'm on that. Make the point. Leviticus 11 in verse number 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean unto you. Swine is a pig. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. So why are you defiling yourself for no reason?
China will face new scrutiny on tech investments. Ukraine will get $800 million in weapons aid. China will face new...
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 800 million. I thought it said 800 billion. My fault. 800 million.
New scrutiny on tech investments. Taiwan will get $1 billion for military cooperation. Israel's missile defense systems will get...
That's crazy, man. I gotta rewind that, but I gotta grab this. That's crazy, man. But the Lord's working. He's working, man. I gotta admit, he's working. Habakkuk 2:6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And it's a batcha in clay. Let me look this up. You look at the debt clock, and you see why those bills are not being paid, because he's allocating the money to other things, heavy debts. And if you continue to do so, you're not going to be able to get out of there. You have to continue to fight. Ultimately, you have to keep fighting until you be destroyed. There's no way you can pay that bill off. So now you got to kill everybody. If you owe a debt to the mafia, and they gonna, you got to go destroy them. You got to go to war with the mafia. And he's about to go to, this is why he's going to war, because he can't pay off this money. He's bankrupt. America's bankrupt. He's broke, but he got a suit and tie on, so he look clean, but his pockets he's empty.
Operation. Israel's missile defense systems will get full funding. China will face new scrutiny on tech investments. Taiwan will get $1 billion for military cooperation. Israel's missile defense systems will get full funding, and Trump's military operations near Venezuela are under scrutiny. So this is not just a budget.
By the way, he just robbed another oil tanker. So now he's on number 2. The first one was the biggest oil tanker in U.S. history, so I wonder how big the second one is.
Blueprint for U.S. power in the year ahead. Here's a report.
U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a defense law that will shape America's power for the next year. It is the single most important military decision Washington makes annually. This is called the National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA. This year, it comes with a record price tag. $901 billion, more than any defense bill before it, and more than what the White House itself requested. Congress passed it with overwhelming support. At home, it focuses on the military itself. U.S. service members will receive a nearly 4% pay rise. The Pentagon will move ahead with new ships, aircraft.
And he just offered them $17.76 for a warrior dividend before the holiday. So he's trying to get them all in good spirit, get them in that spirit. But I think right after, when we enter 2026, it's gonna be he gonna be going to war. 2026, he gonna be. Every war that you see in the world is gonna increase. Taiwan's getting ready to fight with China. They're using the same weapons that Ukrainians are using. They're probably sharing data on different things they could do, and everything's about to increase. All the wars. I think your way of life is going to be changed in a couple of weeks. I think as soon as January 2026 kick off, man, this shit gonna heat the fuck up. Excuse my language.
And missile systems. Funding for the Trump's Golden Dome missile defense project is also written into law. The bill reflects the
Oh shit, he gonna build it. I gotta rewind it. I'm talking too much.
The Pentagon will move ahead with new ships, aircraft, and missile systems. Funding for the Trump's Golden Dome missile defense project is also written into law. The bill reflects the political priorities of President Trump. Diversity and inclusion programs at the Pentagon have been shut down, and transgender women are barred from women's sports at military academies. Beyond America's borders, the bill sends even stronger signals. Europe sits at the center of it. Despite Trump's skepticism of NATO, Congress has drawn clear limits. US troop numbers in Europe cannot fall below 76,000. Major equipment cannot be pulled out quickly. Support for NATO's eastern flank is reinforced. Special focus has gone to the Baltic states. Ukraine is also locked in. The Congress has approved $400 million a year for 2 years. The money will fund weapons production through US companies. It guarantees continued military support. Even as political debates continue elsewhere, the next major focus of the bill is on China.
And you know what? When you, let me grab this precept real quick. It'll help me explain it. I think it's Matthew the 6th chapter, where it says, Matthew 6 verse 21, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So he's putting his money where his mind actually is. He's putting $1 trillion in war. So that's where his mind is right now, war, okay? And he's putting his money there in those aspects. So don't think he's worried about the price of food and your rent going down and, gas prices and all. He don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Even though he gonna tell you he is, but he don't give two shits about any of y'all.
Washington is tightening scrutiny of American money flowing into sensitive Chinese technologies. Next major focus of the bill is on China. Washington is tightening scrutiny of American money flowing into sensitive Chinese technologies. U.S. companies must now notify the Treasury Department when investing in high-risk sectors. These include semiconductors and quantum systems. Federal financing for some Chinese biotech firms is restricted. U.S. diplomats will also expand monitoring of Beijing's global influence. That attention does not stop at China's borders. The bill fully funds the Taiwan Security Cooperation Initiative, worth $1 billion. It authorizes continued U.S. military training for Taiwanese forces. Meanwhile, limits have been placed on reducing U.S. troop levels in South Korea. In West Asia, there's a symbolic break with the past. It repeals the legal authorizations behind the Iraq wars. Those powers had been in place for decades. Congress is reclaiming its role in decisions of war. The law also lifts sanctions imposed on Syria in 2019. The stated aim is to support post-war reconstruction. The bill provides full funding for Israel's missile defense systems. That includes Iron Dome and David's Sling. In America's neighborhood, active duty troops have been authorized at the U.S.-Mexico border. And congressional
I need to find out what he just said.
at the U.S.-Mexico border, David's Sling. In America's neighborhood, active duty troops have been authorized at the U.S.-Mexico border. And congressional oversight of recent military operations in the Caribbean has also been tightened. So what does this all add up to? This defense law locks in America's military priorities for the year ahead. Congress has drawn red lines that Trump cannot cross. The message to allies is clear. U.S. commitments will hold. And to rivals, Washington is watching them closer than ever before.
I was born into
Yeah. So it sounds like war to me. I got some more, and I'm just gonna play them.
According to ICE, the 41-year-old man from Haiti was arrested by ICE and taken here to Delaney Hall last week. A day later, he was dead, ICE just announcing the death on Thursday. This video.
So why Haitian immigrant in ICE custody dies after medical episode? And you know what? I'm seeing this all the time. Every couple of months you're hearing about. And I don't know why it's Haitian. Another Haitian person died not too long ago in ICE custody.
Showing an ambulance leaving Delaney Hall on December 11th, the day Jean Wilson Brutus was taken here in ICE custody, and the same day ICE says he experienced a medical emergency at the detention facility.
They brought somebody out in a
killed this man.
Stretcher.
ICE says EMS performed life-saving measures and Brutus was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead on December 12th from suspected natural causes.
We think that
natural causes, always a Jake. Natural cause. Oh, he slipped and he fell. And they're not gonna. I would doubt that they would go and look into it. They don't give a fuck.
That there should be an investigation on that, and we shouldn't.
You think so, Melissa Munez?
Take ICE at their word.
Advocates.
Don't ever never trust your enemy, man. This is why you need the Lord. This is why the Lord ultimately is judgment from the Lord. Job 4:7 tells you that whoever perished being innocent, and plus you Haitians are wicked anyways. This is a lot of y'all worship all types of wickedness. You worship your woman, and this is why you're gonna be destroyed. A lot of y'all are gonna find yourselves in a situation like this, and he gonna kill your ass in there because you're wicked.
Including Melissa Munoz gathering outside Delaney Hall Friday night, calling the death foreseeable.
We've heard many cases of there being, lack of response when persons inside, our community members inside, did not receive the medical care they need in time.
According to ICE, Brutus had no signs of distress during intake, nor a medical history of cardiovascular issues.
Oh, that's weird. No signs, no cardiovascular issues, but yet he died of some unforeseen natural cause. Get the fuck out of here.
We feel very much for his family and his friends.
ICE says Brutus entered the U.S. illegally in 2023.
Brutish. Well, I gotta grab it. His name's Brutus, but it made me think of a precept. Brute beast. That's what Brutus made me think of. Let's put brute. Let's see what pops up. Yep, 2 Peter 2:12. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. So you speak evil of the men of the Lord on the highways and hedges, trying to get you back to serving the Lord, or getting right with the Lord. You were meant to be like that, okay? You were meant to deny the word, and then something happened to you down the line. But your chance was given to you, but you didn't want to accept it. Jude verse 10, but these speak evil of the things which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, in those things they corrupt themselves. And that's how you end up in the position that you're in, because the Lord ain't going to defend a Haitian. Either come back to your nationality, you don't want to accept Levi. Well, the Lord ain't coming to save no Haitians and Jamaicans and African Americans. He's coming to save the elect of Israel and the remnant. So all of y'all gonna get put to death.
3 and was taken into custody. 3 and was taken into custody by federal officials after being arrested for criminal trespassing multiple times.
This community member, right? They shouldn't be given a death sentence for being, for being undocumented.
Viri Martinez.
You see, and no one can ever connect it back to the Lord. They give their opinion. They speak from a carnal mindset. So you'll never get the information that you need to connect it all together to show you the Lord does all these things, and that's why I gotta grab it. Hosea 4:6. I just gotta grab it. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. So you don't want to repent. The Lord got something for you.
Inez is with the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. Inez is with the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. The group led protests against Delaney Hall opening as an ICE detention center in the spring, run by private prison operator the Geo Group.
When it first opened, right, there was no permits that were fully given to the city in order to be in full operation.
Also a vocal
See? So a lot of illegal shit's going on, but the duck ain't gonna do nothing about it. And if you don't know the times that you're in, you should be praying more. You should be in the spirit more, because we need to be defended in this time, and it's the Lord who's fighting for you. He's the one he'll make your enemies be at peace with you. But if not, these people, man, the Lord will give you, because ultimately the Lord will send put an evil spirit on them, and next thing you know, his knees on your neck. They know how to put you to death without and it not being make it look natural. Esau is as death, man. He knows how to kill you, and he just died. He hung himself.
Opponent, Newark Mayor Ross Baraka, who was arrested at the facility in May. The mayor writing in a statement about Brutus's death, quote, Newark's documented history of Geo Group and ICE's complete lack of transparency and their demonstrated disregard for laws that ensure the safety and well-being of the detainees tend some disgusting speculation on the immorality of stripping human beings of their innate dignity. We also reached out to the Geo Group, a spokesperson referring us back to ICE and their press release.
See? Blame it on Geo. Geo Group refers you back to ICE, and now you're back to where you started. I was watching this. It says, I guess this 14 hours ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin promised a response to Ukraine's drone attack on a Russian tanker in the Mediterranean during a 4-hour news conference in Moscow. I gotta look this
To the
up.
war in Ukraine now, Russian President Vladimir Putin promising a response to Ukraine's drone attack on a Russian tanker in the Mediterranean. The Russian leader commenting during a 4-hour news conference in Moscow. ABC's Marcus Moore joins us with more from London. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, Janae, good morning to you. There have been some key developments in the war in Ukraine. Among them, sources confirming to ABC News that Ukraine's SBU carried out that unprecedented strike on a Russian tanker in the Mediterranean Sea. Ukraine using aerial drones to strike the ship that was empty at the time, but Ukrainian officials claim it's used to help Russia skirt sanctions to continue funding its war. Now, this strike came just as Vladimir Putin hosted his annual news conference, and during the event in Moscow, he said that there will be a response to this strike. And also during the marathon news conference that went on for more than 4 hours, Putin said that Russia wants peace, but it will keep fighting this war until its goals are met. In the meantime, U.S. and Russian officials are set to meet in Miami to discuss further on this possible ceasefire deal. And Gio, one of the key sticking points is the proposal that Ukraine would cede territory to Russia in the midst of this war. Gio.
Let's hope that this war starts to end soon. Marcus Moore, thank you so much.
Well, I don't think it is, Marcus, because your president just invested $1 trillion into the war, so Matthew 6:21 applies. And I got one more. It says Elon Musk wild claims shock the internet.
Meanwhile, there's this billionaire Elon Musk weighing on the Trump accounts for newborns set to roll out next year, saying that they're a nice gesture but may not be necessary going forward because he says saving money will not be necessary, with universal high income set to prevail in the future. Musk says this on X, it is certainly a nice gesture of the Dells, but there will be no poverty in the future, and so no need to save money. There will be universal high income. Musk is on record saying artificial intelligence and robotics will eliminate poverty and the need to work, creating a universal level of wealth. Trying to follow this one, Todd. No need to save money. I mean, I don't get this.
I do not know if I have the intellectual capacity to wrap my head around this.
I know.
I'm being honest. Like, so what do you do? What is life? And I'm not saying life is work, but let's be realistic. Getting up every day and having a purpose is what life is all about. And for most people, that purpose is work, provide for your family. If that doesn't exist, I truly am at a loss for words. Like, what is it? What do we do? Do we just stare at the clouds all day? I don't know.
What is he talking about, John?
I'm trying to understand that myself, but I'll tell you, Maria and viewers, don't hold your breath thinking that you're not going to have to work anymore. You know, AI might eventually help lead to a world where perhaps there is no need to work, but that world...
Yeah, he's going to do it by putting an MOTB device in your forehead. You're going to be thinking you're on your way to Mars when you're down here on the Earth, and he's remote. He's controlling your body. I can only imagine what kind of technology this device truly is. Now, we can speculate, you know, we know you're going to need it in order to buy or sell. But eventually, the Lord tells you in Matthew 24 that if you don't shorten the days, man, this devil got all types of plans, and it's all vanity at the end of the day, because the Lord he knows when all of this is going to come to an end. We just know it will come. Let me grab this. Matthew 24 and 42, I think it is. No. So I can't even think of the precept where he basically says, Matthew 24 and 24, for there shall arise. Matthew 24 and 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the Lord, he's speeding things up. So he's shortening the days for the elect's sake, because you let this devil do it, man, he gonna be implementing all types of shit. And no flesh should be saved. But the world he's thinking of, you watch movies like Black Mirror, that's the type of shit he got in his mind. So there ain't gonna be no need for money if he's programming your mind. All right, but he's not gonna be successful. Okay, Job 5. And verse 12, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So he ain't gonna be able to establish this new world order that he has in his mind. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. So he's gonna rush him. He's shortening the time. He's gonna make him hasty, make him make mistakes on his way to achieving his goal. And through that, he's going to be delivering his elect. He's going to be bringing forth judgment to the wicked, 2/3. He's going to be doing all types of things in this world. Let me finish this. I'm going to end it.
May not arrive until hundreds of years from now. It's not going to happen anytime soon. That's
not true. The MOTB is already here.
For sure.
They're already talking about universal basic income. So all these things are happening in your lifetime. Esau, go write and say how you being oppressed at work.
You know, this has me totally confused, and I guess it's just more AI hyperbole. And
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the people you see already have the MOTB. Just they already using it. It's probably been in place longer. It's probably more prevalent than we actually think it is.
And perhaps the market itself has gotten too carried away with what AI can deliver fairly soon.
Yeah, I just went on ChatGPT and said, what is Elon Musk talking about when he says we won't need to work? They say Musk predicts that advances in AI and robotics will automate most of or nearly all human labor. So that's what he's talking about, making work optional instead of. So that's what he's. Will automate most of or nearly all human labor.
You're gonna automate most of or nearly all human labor, because you gonna be the robot. You're gonna turn you. You're gonna use your body as the robot by putting his wicked device inside you.
So that's what he's talking about, making work optional instead of necessary.
I'll be here, Maria. I'll be here for you regardless of what
that's what
optional.
ChatGPT says. All right.
But I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.